All right. What's up, guys? RB Grinder back again. Today we're going to be going over Red Yellow Darius. This is a really cool deck. I think it's one of the better decks that are kind of aggro-y control. I don't think this game has a super true aggro deck, but this deck does play pretty fast and it can kind of start getting things going really, really fast. So the main thing to know with this is it's really cool. So if you played another card this turn for Darius' ability, you can basically tap him to add a mana, which is really, 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 really good. I can't explain how good it is, but basically every time you play a card, you can have an additional mana. And it just comes up all the time. If it doesn't come up, you're probably playing this deck wrong. Now you have two champions that you can kind of choose from, Yellow and Red Darius. Yellow Darius has the Legion effect when you play me and you played another card earlier in the turn. That is what Legion does. You play a card. If you play another card, you get the Legion effect. Just to explain it, I'm not going to go over it again. It gets the effect if you play another card. Basically, he comes out ready with haste, so he's a 6/6 with haste, which is pretty good. It's better than Warwick, which is a 6/6 6/5 with haste. Other friendly units at his bases have +1 attack, so it's really good having it in your base or on the battlefield, and it kind of just gets through what you need to get through. Darius Red, when you play a second card this turn, give him +2 attack. I will say most people end up playing Darius Red in the main deck, but you can definitely play it as your champion if you want. It's pretty good, but I think the yellow one is a little bit better just for, having access to a 6/6 with haste is really, really good and kind of helps you clear and finish games. Your leader ability, your special card, is Noxian Guillotine, really good. Choose a unit, kill it next time it takes damage. That's okay if you have a 1-drop on the field or something and you want to kill something that's super big. Usually, though, you're going to be playing this as a Legion card, so basically kill it. You just kill it, just a 4-mana removal, kill something on the board. Super free, super awesome. Cool thing about the Darius mana is you can use the mana for anything, so if you played another card that turn, you're in the clear and you can kind of play anything. Play a pretty even mix of red and yellow. That's pretty normal with most of these dual land decks. You're going to be playing multiple, pretty good mix. So you want to see both. You're playing both for a reason. As far as battlefields go, some options you have is Altered Immunity. This one's really good. Honestly, I think this one's a little bit better for Viktor, but because their spells synergize so much better with this. But it's a pretty good kind of aggro strategy battlefield. The best aggro strategy battlefield that they even printed. They just revealed this recently. The arena's greatest. At the start of each player's beginning phase, that player gains a point. So games end so much quicker with this field, this battlefield. It's crazy. Honestly, the best battlefield. If you get this battlefield, you have a pretty high win rate. And then you have War Camp. Units here have +1 attack. You're kind of a bit of a swarm deck. Not as swarmy as Viktor. Your bodies are a little bit bigger, but this one is pretty good for you as well. It can kind of backfire against Viktor. I think War Camp and Altered Immunity are really good for your deck against almost every other deck, but against Viktor, they kind of can backfire a little bit because it does feel like Viktor is playing your strategy better, if that makes any sense. Not an unwinnable matchup by any means. Still really good matchup and fun, but sometimes they can kind of have an edge there. Something to think about. Maybe you change up the battlefields based on that if there's a lot of Viktors. So you play a lot of 2-drops, you play a lot of 3-drops, you play a lot of 4 and 5 drops. You're generally on the earlier end of the mana curve. I know last video I did was Volibear, so Volibear is really late on the mana curve. This deck's really early on the mana curve. So you're going to be playing units a lot faster. You're going to actually be using the recycling abilities to kind of get stuff going a bit faster as well. You're going to be wanting to recycle stuff. I would say most of the time I play Darius, I sometimes will end up being around 4, 5, 6, maybe 8 mana almost my entire game because I'm just constantly recycling stuff to kind of trigger things. And Darius also gives free mana, so it kind of counteracts it. So you can really get into a late game with your max mana ever being 8 with this deck, which is really good. You're playing fast. Vi, I've gone over a couple times, but it's a 2/3 recycle one from trash, give her +1, and she has ganking. Just a really good 2-drop. It could be a potentially 4 attack 2-drop, which is better than you could ask for, but it's kind of hard to use its ability so early in the game because you don't really have much in the trash at that point. Legion Real Guard, really good. You actually do play this as ready in this deck, so usually you will actually going second. You'll play him as ready to kind of score an early point. He can die pretty easily after that, but usually they're not ready to clap back unless they played something crazy turn 1. You're also playing Glory Seeker. She has Legion, so she gets a +1 buff when you play her and you've played something else before. She's really good as like a turn 3, 4, 5 option. Soaring Scout, Death Knell, Channel Rune Exhausted. This one's just really good. It's just you go first, you play it, you send it to a battlefield, you get points until they kill it. When they kill it, you get a Rune Exhausted, which can kind of help your ramp and kind of help you play cards earlier than you should be able to normally. Really good card. I think a lot of decks, this is kind of like a staple. I think a lot of decks are going to play this. As far as your 3-drops go, you have Vanguard Captain, so Legion. When you play her, you get 2/1/1 recruit tokens. She's really good. She's basically a 3-mana 5. I kind of said that in the Viktor video as well, but 3-mana 5 is pretty crazy. Dangerous Duo is really cool. When you play him, give a unit +2 this turn. So really good for like, let's say turn 1 you play like, Soaring Scout or something, and then they play something or do something. Turn 3 you can play Dangerous Duo, give it +2, and kind of trade with stuff that normally you wouldn't be able to. Definitely just a good 3-drop overall. I don't know if I'd max out on copies of it, but it's a really good 3-drop. As far as your 4-drops, Nox is Hopeful. This card's kind of like a 2-drop because if you played another card, he becomes 2 less with Legion. So to be honest, you're not really playing him as a 4-drop. He is more of a 2-drop. So you're kind of playing a 2-drop and then you're playing him. So he's kind of helps your curve. He's kind of ridiculous. He'll come out and all of a sudden you'll just have a huge board. Like he is a definitely really, really good card. I would try to find this plus a 2-drop in your mulligan. That's kind of what you want to do is you want to find these. So turn 2, if you're going first, you can kind of play both and just all of a sudden you have like 7, 8 stats on board. And it's like, what is happening? How did ramp decks like Willow set deal with that? It's really hard. One of the coolest cards in your deck, I think, is Vayne. So she's kind of unique. Every time you play her, she kind of will come in ready because your opponent will usually control a battlefield when you're playing her. When she's attacking, she has Assault +3, so she's a 5-drop. So essentially 4 mana, 5-drop with Rush. When you conquer, you can actually pay 1, which you can actually pay from the Darius to return her to hand and just kind of keep looping her and keep taking battlefields and keep looping her. She's really good at closing out games and she's really good at controlling games. Because if you let's say you just dumped your entire hand early game, like you jumped all your Vi's, your Source Keepers, your Noxus Hopefuls, and you're kind of just trying to control the board, Vayne is really, really, really clutch. A lot of people will try to hit it with removal because it just keeps coming back and keeps recurring and keeps coming back and just keeps taking battlefields that they shouldn't be able to. Really good card. I think one of the GOAT cards of this deck for sure. I don't know if I'd play max of them, but I think I would. Draven, might is increased by your points. You're playing an aggro deck. Sometimes by the time you play this on curve, you're going to have like 3-4 points, especially if you have the Arena's Greatest. Now all of a sudden this is like a 5-drop, like 6-7, which is just crazy. Again, you're not playing aggro, but you're playing pretty fast. You're playing faster than most of the other decks I've seen, so keep in mind it's probably going to be pretty strong when it comes out. Another 5-drop you're playing is Scrapyard Champion. Legion, when you play him, discard 2, draw 2. He's kind of like a draw engine. He will come up later in games. You're usually not trying to play him on curve unless it's your only option. And he's really good when it's your only option, but realistically speaking, you should try to play other things before you play him. He's kind of like when you've dumped your whole hand. This deck is kind of about just like dumping your whole hand over the board, playing everything, taking battlefields, playing super fast. And then, this can kind of help you get back past that curve where you dumped everything and you're like, oh, I need to draw a couple cards just to have plays. You never want to have more mana than you have cards. You kind of want to have enough mana for all of the cards and just kind of play like that. Harness Dragon, I think this is going to be another staple card. When you play it, kill a unit. It's an 8-drop, basically kill a unit and has 6 body. So just really good. It's essentially a removal spell, to be honest with you, with how it's played, but it's just a crazy card. Viktor plays it. Darius plays it. I think most yellow decks are going to play this card. Same with the Soaring Scout. It just seems like staples at this point. As far as removal spells, you actually have quite a decent bit of options. So Cleave is not a removal, but it is like a +3. It's a 1-drop. You can kind of leave a mana behind most scenarios, and keep in mind you can use it with your Darius ability, but it's hard to use it on your opponent's turn. So it's kind of free if you play another card this turn. but you have to use it on your turn if you're going to use it for free. It kind of helps with like Vayne and any of your rush cards, really, like Legion Rearguard. If you play Legion Rearguard, this is essentially free. You have Kill the Weak. Kill the Weak kills each player controls a unit their control. You can kill your Soaring Scouts or just one of your like 2-drop weak babies, and it's fine. You're usually going to try to use it again when they don't have anything. You play one hidden. You can use it as a hidden. I've found more success with holding it though instead, and kind of like using it to really destroy something that I need to destroy, some bigger thing. Because if I use it as a hidden, sometimes I feel like I'm forced to use it when I really don't want to. And sometimes they can even kill the unit at your battlefield and you lose the hidden. So I would try to leave mana behind, but if you don't have mana behind and you're playing really fast, sometimes hiding this is correct. You're also playing Void Seeker. It's kind of like the Annie Tibber spell or whatever, where you deal 3, draw a card, or deal 3, draw a card if it kills it. Except this is honestly like better. It deals 4, draws 1. Even if it kills it, if it doesn't kill it, it doesn't matter. So it's a really good spell. These are all kind of like your removal spells, which you're going to be kind of cycling through. You notice they're all very low mana because you're not going to have a lot of mana like left behind. You're trying to kind of play everything you can on your turn. So these are mostly going to be used on your turn. Sometimes you'll hide the Hidden Blade, but not all the times. You'll see if the situation calls for it, but honestly, it's not too big of a deal either way. This deck's really cool. It plays most like an aggro deck I've seen out of any of the decks that are out right now. If not aggro, just really fast. It kind of like just gets going. It can take advantage of Volibear and Set and those kind of decks. Has a little bit of a harder time, like I said, against Viktor. And then against Jinx and Kai'Sa, you're kind of playing a very similar game plan. So I think those are just, even matchups. Overall, a really good deck. I don't want to say anything too early because I've only tested like 5 to 10 games with this deck. I think it's one of the stronger decks that are in the game at the moment, especially with Vayne and the Arena's Greatest and those kind of cards. We'll see as the meta develops. Viktor might just be this deck but stronger, but it feels like this deck can sometimes have a slightly better matchup into some decks. But yeah, overall, this is Darius. Like, comment, subscribe if you have any questions, concerns, you want to hit me up about anything, just let me know. I answer all my comments and stuff, so I'm happy to help. I'm going to be posting more and more. Like I said, spectating coming soon once Pixelborn starts doing spectating. And I'll start going and doing commentary on games to kind of show you guys what my thought process is when I'm playing this game and what I think of it. Overall, this deck's awesome, though. RB Grinder out.